Let's start. نبدأ بالarticle anti-transparents. Anti-transparents are substances applied to plants to reduce water loss. Okay, جاية من طبعا to reduce transpiration. There are three types of anti-transparents: film-forming compounds, stomatal regulators, and reflective compounds. The first type of anti-transparent, اللي هو ده, film-forming compounds, contain film-forming compounds. تمام. These compounds are oils or waxes that are mixed with water to form an emulsion. This emulsion is then sprayed onto the leaves of plants. The emulsions form a physical barrier that covers the stomata. The film is designed to prevent water loss but allow gas exchange. يعني it's just for the water loss, لكن the gas exchange goes normal. Scientists have found that the film-forming anti-transparent is effective in increasing yield and increasing photosynthesis in drought conditions. Type this word drought يعني when there is no rainfall, okay, dryness. The increased leaf turgor in plants sprayed with film compared to the control plant shows that the film decreases water loss and maintains turgor in drought conditions. Film-forming anti-transparents are used to in horticulture to reduce water stress. This can occur during storage, transport, and planting of container-grown plants. يبقى الهورتيكالتشر ده عبارة عن container-grown plants. They are not grown in fields, but in certain containers. Application of the anti-transparent before transplanting helps the plant survive until the root system is established. طبعا الترانسبلانتنج دي يا جماعه ان احنا بنجيب a part of the plant وبعمل لها يعني I hold it over another plant. يعني بيبقى فيه مثلا this is a plant وبحط عليه another part of the plant كده وبتبقى held together لحد لما both of them to act as one part of the plant. يبقى application of anti-transparent before transplanting helps the plant survive until the root system is established. The film-forming compounds are used to reduce drying out in rolled turf and transporting flowering plants and trees with root balls. ثواني في ناس لسه بتدخل. The second type of anti-transparents are stomatal regulators that reduce the size of the stomatal pore. يبقى ده كده they reduce the size of stomatal pore. Stomatal pores affect diffusion as well as transpiration. Therefore, photosynthesis and growth may change when stomatal regulators are applied to leaf surfaces. التانية كانت لا، كان الفوتوسينثيسيس بيشتغل عادي وفي gas normal gas exchange. Therefore, photosynthesis and growth may change when stomatal regulators are applied to leaf surface. If the stomatal pores close completely, this will stop photosynthesis. However, if stomatal openings are only reduced in size, transpiration will be reduced, but some photosynthesis will continue. The third type of anti-transparents are reflective compounds. These work by adding a white coating to the leaves. This changes the amount of light that is reflected by the leaf surface. The coating is only applied to the upper surface of leaves, so does not block the stomatal pores. لأن طبعا, as we all know, that stomata are much more on the lower surface of the leaf. Coating a leaf with a reflective chemical can reduce leaf temperature, transpiration rate, and also increase the efficiency of water use. Experiments show that transpiration rate can be reduced up to 30% and leaf temperature reduced from 40 to 30 degrees Celsius after a coating of reflective compound is applied to the leaf surface. Crops depend on photosynthesis for growth and final yield. Therefore, it is unlikely that currently available anti-transpirants would increase the yield of a crop unless the crop suffers from a low water supply or very high rates of evaporation. Spraying film forming or stomata regulating transpirants on a field-grown cereal crop under drought conditions produced a grain yield increase of 17%. Experiments also show that any effect that anti-transpirants have on the minerals supplied to the leaves has little effect on plant growth. طبعا الموضوع غريب شوية لكن الquestions بعد كده جاية عادية ما فيهاش أي مشكلة. طيب يلا نبدأ في الquestions بس. Explain why plants that have been dug up هقولها تاني. Explain why plants that have been dug up and transported are at most risk of drying out. Dug up يعني we remove the plant from the soil and transported يعني we transport them to another place are at most risk of drying out. Let's start النهارده بزياد.
Okay, so as the plant has been dug up, the root will not be in the soil.
Yes.
So the water will not be transported to the plant.
هو قبل transported يا زياد يعني what does the root do؟ ما بيعملش transporting الأول بيعمل إيه؟ To the water.
Take the water.
الانتيك أو الابsorption of water يعني because the roots can be damaged. على فكرة لما بيجوا they remove the plant from the soil the roots can be damaged يبقى كده the absorption of water will be affected وبرضو بعد كده هيحصل يعني water that is lost by transpiration will not be replaced. اوكي مش transported بقى يعني هو بيقول لي هنا dug up and transported ده البلانت نفسه. Okay, so when they dig up the plant, they remove the roots from the soil in order to transport the plant to anywhere else. يعني ساعات لما حد بيكون growing a pot مثلا a plant pot at home and the pot is small, when the plant grows up, they have to dig up the plant and put it or transport it to a wider pot. فدي ممكن تعمل damage to the leaves. يبقى الwater will not be absorbed from the soil وبكده طبعا الwater lost by transpiration will not be replaced. اوكي هيبقى الwater is lost by transpiration لكن will not be replaced. طيب the photograph shows some stomata on a leaf surface. عندي هنا dimensions لما يقول لي micrometer يبقى this is the actual size يا جماعة of the image. Use the photograph to determine the number of stomata per millimeter squared on this leaf. وناخد بالنا من اليونت. وهسأل حسن. بالمليمتر squared. يبقى the first thing you have to do أعمل إيه يا حسن؟
Convert.
Yes, bravo. طيب. يبقى 100 micrometers will make how many millimeters? أو of a millimeter بقى.
It will make it will make 0.1.
برافو، يبقى 0.1 مليمتر and here 0.1 مليمتر. طيب هو عايز مليمتر سكوير، يبقى what should you do؟
Squared.
طبعا
yeah, squared.
yes squared. دي تديني كام بقى يا حسن؟ 0.01 مش كده؟
0.01.
yes مليمتر سكوير. كده احنا we have started ان احنا نعمل زي فورماتنج للكويستشن او للنمبرز اللي موجوده. يلا let's go to the question بقى. Use the photograph to determine the number of stomata per millimeter squared on this leaf surface. فهعمل ايه؟
I think 0.01 divided by 3.
divided by 3. احنا عندنا 3 stomata in 0.01. يبقى each stoma هتبقى قد ايه؟ او how many stomata كده؟ يعني انا عندي هنا 1 2 and 3. اوكي، وده في 0.01 مليمتر سكويرد of the leaf surface. طبعا in all the leaf بقى هتبقى ايه؟ هقولها ازاي؟ ها قول.
I'm not sure, miss. Is it 3 times 0.01?
لا هقول لك حاجة. لما أقول 3 stomata in 0.01 يعني 3 stomata per 0.01 مليمتر سكوير. يبقى في كل الليف هتبقى إيه؟ ممكن أجيبها إزاي؟
How large is the leaf?
لا ما هو مش كده. لما أقول per يبقى إيه يا حسن؟
يبقى 3 divided by 0.01.
برافو عليك، لأن البير دي يا جماعة كده أوكي، يعني divided by، فيبقى هنا divided by 0.01. This will give me 300 صح؟ 300 stomata. Yes. اوكي، سؤال غريب مش كده يا حسن؟ somewhat strange يعني، بس اهو احنا بنعرف يعني new ideas اهو. لان لما غريب اول مره اشوفه. لما يبقى 3 in this area هقول per area. اوكي، و per يعني divided by، يبقى معنى كده you will divide ال 3 by the area فتديني the number of stomata. طبعا هو مش قايل لي what's the area of the leaf، طبعا مش هيقول يعني. طيب اوكي، بص هنا بير مليمتر سكويرد، واحنا كنا مطلعينها بير 0.01 مليمتر سكويرد، عشان كده we have to divide طبعا. طيب explain why stomatal regulators reduce photosynthesis من line 19 ل 24. ارجع لها تاني من 19 to 24. والكويستشن هيروح لفرح. فرح انت دخلتي متأخرة، خليني ادي الكويستشن ده to another candidate جانا عصام، وهسألك بعدين يا فرح. okay because you joined late. yes جانا عصام, would you like the question again? Explain why stomatal regulators reduce photosynthesis in line 19 ل 24. Yes, Jana?
Yes. They reduce the size of the stomata. How does it reduce photosynthesis? صح؟
هو بيقول لي هنا explain why regulators reduce photosynthesis. طبعا.
Yes, they reduce the size of the stomata, so
yes.
less carbon dioxide diffuses in the leaf.
Yes, so less photosynthesis. كويس قوي. خلاص كده. طيب, explain why reflective compounds should only be applied to the upper surface of the leaf in line 27 and 28. And the question will go to Abdulrahman Saeed. 27 to 28. Reflective compounds.
Miss, because stomata is on the lower surface of, so stomata is not blocked by the reflective compound, that it can absorb carbon dioxide for photosynthesis.
Yes, بس حبيت تقول the stomata are mainly on the lower surface. Mainly on the lower surface, لأن فعلا في on the upper surface few stomata. لكن طبعا ال upper hand of transpiration بيتعمل من الstomata on the lower surface. تمام. Explain why reducing leaf temperature reduces transpiration. Again, 28 to 32. And the question will go to لا إياد لسه داخل برضو. حلا محمد. Why reducing temperature? Okay. Reduces transpiration rate. هي الارتكل ما فيهاش حاجة في الانسر هنا. يلا يا حلا. حلا, are you here? حلا. جودي رامي.
So as temperature decreases, kinetic energy decreases. Therefore, less movement of water molecules, so less diffusion.
less diffusion طبعا. لأن طبعا loss of water by transpiration, this is a kind of diffusion. اوكي, فيبقى كده احنا عندنا less kinetic energy, يبقى less diffusion بالتأكيد. تمام. ثواني يا جماعة. Yeah. Describe the role of one named mineral in plant growth. يبقى you have to mention the mineral and what is its role. عبد الرحمن طارق. Any mineral and its role طبعا.
مغنيسيوم.
تمام.
بيجي في اللي هو الكلوروفيل.
Excuse me.
مغنيسيوم ده بيديوس للكلوروبلاست.
لا, مش احنا قلنا ما نقولش كلوروبلاست. هقول ايه؟ المغنيسيوم is used to synthesize ايه؟
كلوروبلاست.
لا, مش كلوروبلاست. magnesium is used to synthesize ايه يا احمد؟
الكلوروفايل.
الكلوروفيل يا عبد الرحمن. الكلوروفيل not the chloroplast. Chloroplast is an organelle. لكن الكلوروفيل is the pigment that is found in the chloroplast and magnesium is needed to synthesize it. اوكي, ما نلخبطش فيهم بقى. طيب, describe how water is transported from the soil to the leaves in plants يا منى. And I want complete answer please, لأن الكويستشن ده عليه 4 marks. يبقى you have to mention details هنا بقى. ببتدي من أول السويل لحد ما يوصل الwater to the leaves.
Okay, so the soil absorbs water
by osmosis. By the
Is
process of
soil absorbs water by osmosis? The soil is not living. يعمل osmosis ازاي؟
So the plant has like root hair cells. So the root hair cells in the plant absorbs
Yes.
the soil absorbs the water by the process osmosis.
تمام.
And osmosis is when it moves from like, how do I say it? From dilute to more concentrated.
طيب, if you want to mention this بس in the form of أو using water potential, يبقى هتقولي إيه? From which water potential to which water potential?
Dilute water potential to.
لا, there is nothing called dilute water potential. Either you say dilute solution أو high water potential. Okay? يبقى هنا ممكن تقولي from dilute solution to concentrated solution, ولازم تقولي لي كمان where is the dilute solution and where is the concentrated solution. يعني I have the soil and I have the root hair cells. Which of them has dilute solution?
root hair cells.
لا, ازاي بقى يا مينا؟ يعني if you have a cell like this وانتي قلتي ان الosmosis the water will enter inside the cell, يبقى which of them has, لو ده كده soil, السويل طبعا عندها dilute solution, يعني معناها عندها higher water potential. تمام؟ والinside of the cell root hair cell عندها concentrated solution or low water potential. Okay, يعني either you say dilute in concentration or higher and lower water potential. طب continue please.
Okay, so then the water will move to the xylem, which then the xylem carries the water to the leaves.
How بقى؟
From transpiration.
But there is a certain term or keywords that you have to use here. يعني transpiration it happens in the leaves, لكن water is found lower down on the root, xylem of the root. فhow the water ascends or is taken up to the leaf?
Pulse.
Excuse me? It has a name. The movement has a name. What's the name of this movement, Jana Wael? She was excused. طيب, Judy Ahmed, what's the name of this movement?
The transpiration pull.
Transpiration pull ده اللي بيتعمل من الليف, لكن اسمها transpiration stream.
Stream, yeah.
Stream, yes. طيب, let me write the answer يا جماعة. واللي حابب ياخد سكرين شوت بالتأكيد. أول حاجة إن water is absorbed by root hair cells by osmosis from higher water potential potential in the soil. لازم أقول دي فين ودي فين. Question عليه 4 marks. To lower water potential in the cells. Okay, يبقى كده خلاص the water entered. ممكن أكمل أقول down water potential gradient, لكن for this question I'd rather to complete, يعني عشان أكمل الأنسر بتاعتي. وبعدين water is transported to the root xylem. يبقى كده وصلنا خلاص للروت زايلم. تمام. Then it is transported up the stem xylem. هتمشي في الستم بقى to the leaves by transpiration stream. اوكي. ممكن كمان اقول ان يعني خلاص ما دام قلت transpiration stream it's okay. وممكن اقول كمان ان الترانسبيريشن stream دي results due to transpiration of water from the stomata of the leaf. Okay. الكويستشن ده يا جماعه is frequently repeated وبيجي بكذا طريقه. This question is frequently repeated بيجي بكذا طريقه لكن the same answer. طيب مش عارفه في حد باعت ثواني. طيب let's continue. The diagram shows a section through a human kidney with some structures labeled. تمام. Which structure is labeled P in the diagram? والquestion لإياد. What is P يا إياد؟ Yes, إياد.
Yes, miss.
What's P?
P. Me. It's the nephron, huh?
Nephron, yes, طبعا.
Yeah.
The nephron.
Okay.
تمام. Which fluid is carried in tube S? والquestion هيروح لعايشة. S يا عايشة. Which fluid is carried here?
Blood.
Blood طبعا. برافو. طيب which tube is labeled Q in the diagram? والquestion لدانيا. Q.
C. Uter.
It is the ureter. Yes. تمام. برافو. Analysis of the composition of urine can be used in the diagnosis of problems with kidney function. Diagnosis means to know what's the problem, okay? To know what's exactly the disease. Urine samples are taken from 3 patients and the results are shown in the table. عندي patients W, X and Y وعندي اهو الurine analysis بتاعهم according to الجلوكوز, water content of urine and protein. Discuss which process in the kidney may be affected to produce the results shown. This is abnormal طبعا كله. To produce the results shown, which process is in the kidney? Include in your answer where in the nephron the process occur. يعني المشكلة في which process بالضبط. I will ask تسنيم question عليه 5 marks يا تسنيم. يعني a long question اديني بقى detailed answer. تاخدي each person لوحده كده وتتكلمي عليه.
اوكي. اول واحدة نتكلم عن patient W. البروسيس هيبقى ultra filtration.
تمام.
It happens from the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. الإفكت هتبقى إنه البروتين it stays the same, it passes out of the blood.
The protein you said ولا إيه؟
البروتين.
The protein. كملي كده. The protein إيه؟
It passes out of the blood.
Out of the blood. تمام. تمام. أوكي.
وفي patient the X the process it's gonna be selective reabsorption in the convoluted tubule.
Which convoluted tubule بقى؟ لازم تقولي لي.
I forgot.
How many convoluted tubules are there?
2.
Are you asking me? طبعا 2. يعني one of them بتبقى at the beginning and the other one at the end of the nephron. يبقى what is the name of the convoluted tubule that has the defect هنا؟ يعني انت شايفة الديفكت في ايه من اللي قدامنا ده يا تسنيم؟ أصل this question you have to know what's the wrong thing in this table so that we know the defect. يعني انت لما قلتي لي هنا الالترا filtration in the glomerulus and Bowman's او into the Bowman's capsule كان ايه السبب؟ ان الجلوكوز was absent and it has to be present and the protein is present and it has to be absent. يبقى عملية الالترا filtration has a problem. اوكي. طيب هنا selective reabsorption في مشكلة. طب what should be reabsorbed بقى؟
الجلوكوز
الجلوكوز. طب ده انا عندي حاجات تانية بتبقى reabsorbed لكن because the glucose is still present in urine يبقى معنى كده في مشكلة في الابsorption of glucose which happens at which part of the nephron؟ لازم تقوليها هنا.
It's gonna be the proximal
the
convoluted.
proximal برافو. يبقى هنا البروكسيمال convoluted tubule فيها problem، فيها مشكلة. اوكي is affected يعني عشان كده الجلوكوز was present in the urine. لكن بقية الحاجات الووتر is normal والبروتين is absent. يبقى ده صح كده. طيب what about why؟
يبقى في الأكس الجلوكوز is gonna be absorbed in the nephron.
لا هنا it's not going to be absorbed لأن it is still present in urine. احنا بنعمل analysis لليورين خلي بالك. الجلوكوز has to be absent in urine وبيبقى completely reabsorbed في proximal convoluted tubule. because it is present in urine يبقى معنى كده there is a problem in its reabsorption. وده بيحصل في proximal convoluted tubule. يبقى there is a something wrong with the proximal convoluted tubule so it does not absorb الجلوكوز. وعشان كده the glucose appeared in urine. خدتي بالك؟ طيب يلا واي بقى انت قوليها.
في الواي عشان ال water content of urine it's very high.
كويس.
there's gonna be ADH release.
تمام.
في in the collecting duct. And الeffects.
يبقى ال collecting duct هنا تبقى يعني
it's gonna be less permeable.
less permeable طبعا لأن in spite of the presence of ADH لكن ال water content is very high in urine. That's why and this is because the collecting ducts هي اللي فيها الإفكت. it is the part that is affected. Okay.
Okay.
فالwater is not reabsorbed back to the blood. تمام. في حد عنده سؤال ولا حاجة؟ لا. طيب let's continue. Describe how to test for glucose in a sample of urine. أول مرة ما يقولش بروتين. How to test for glucose in a sample of urine يا أحمد. وتيك كير من ال 2 marks. You have to mention 2 important things.
Add the appendix solution.
تمام.
And if it turns orange, so it have so it have glucose.
لا كده تاخد 1/2.
مش هيت.
heat أرجوكم.
Yes, heat.
Benedict's solution and heat. ما تقولش الريزلت. اوكي لان هو مش طالب الريزلت. ما قاليش if it is positive يبقى ايه. اوكي فيعني إيه؟ the question is not asking about a positive test. لو سألني على positive test هقول له بقى الكالرز. تمام يا احمد؟
Okay, miss.
Okay. Scientists study the populations of plants in two fields, X and Y, in southern England. They investigate the number of 3 different wildflower species, A, B, and C, so that they can compare the biodiversity of each field. تمام. هنا هم 3 species of flowers. The table shows the numbers of plants of each species per meter squared counted in each field. طيب تعالوا نبص كده على التيبل الأول. These are 3 species وهنا عندي the number of plants per meter squared في subheading field X and Y وكل واحد عامل 3 counts. دول الريبيتس يا جماعة بتاعتهم and the mean طبعا يعني the average in both fields. Calculate the mean number of plants of species B in field Y والquestion هيروح لفرح.
حضرتك سامعني يا دكتور؟
Yes تفضل.
اوكي اول حاجه هنعمل adding ل 21 26 22.
تمام.
فالانسر هيطلع 69 وهنعمل لهم divide 3.
Yes.
الفاينل انسر هيبقى 23.
23 تمام. Thank you. طبعا you have to write the answer في التيبل وهنا يا جماعة. اوكي لازم وهنا working out. Describe how the scientists could determine the number of each plant species per meter squared in each field. How بقى يا نسرين؟ by using ايه هنا؟ لازم يكون ده quadrant. Yes. طب اجيب ال 3 marks منين بقى؟
We can count and record on a table and then repeat.
الأول تقولي by using a quadrant by random sampling. أرجوكم لازم أقول the type of sampling. أوكي يعني random sampling يبقى using a quadrant. Systematic sampling يبقى using a transect. فهنا random sample by using a quadrant وبعد كده أعمل إيه؟ بيقول لك the number of each plant species per meter squared in each field. كملي كده قلتي إيه؟ count إيه؟
Count the number of species and then record and then repeat.
تمام ولو هو عاوز المين يبقى we divide the number by طبعا الاريا بتاعت الكوادراتس اللي موجوده. ده لو هو هنا قال لي مين لكن هنا they did not mention the mean. طيب discuss what the results show about the distribution of species in each field and the difference in biodiversity between the two fields. والquestion لسلمى علي. Discuss what results show about the distribution of species in each field and the difference in biodiversity between the two fields. يلا واجيب لك بقى ده كده.
Miss, do you mind getting that table?
عيشي حياتك اهو. عيشي حياتك انت والتيبل بقى. يلا اتكلمي لي كده على فيلد اكس وفي يعني تعملي لي كومباريزن ما بينهم يعني.
اوكي.
خلي بالك الديستريبيوشن هو عاوزه وبعد كده على البايودايفرستي. بصي الكويستشن بيقول ايه؟ فين هي؟ discuss what the results show about the distribution of species in each field and the difference in biodiversity between the two fields.
Why ما عندهوش species أصلا في إيه؟
تمام. ما انت ما تقوليش كده بقى. هتقولي field X has more species أو has 3 species لكن field Y has only 2. اوكي طيب continue كده.
Why Y في C shows uneven distribution لأن هو 1 وبعدين 5 وبعدين 6.
طيب أنا عايزة أقول لك بقى على حاجة، لما تجاوبي question زي ده يا إما تجاوبي field X أو تجاوبي field Y، ما تاخديش حاجة من هنا وحاجة من هنا.
بس أنا كل ده بجاوب field Y.
أنت عايزة تتكلمي في field Y عشان أصغر، لكن أنا بالنسبة لي field X هو هيكمل لي الأنسر. بصي الكويستشن عليه how many marks أصلا، شكله كده طويل. 4
طيب
marks.
أوكي، لو هنقول عن field X هنقول لأن field X has all 3 species و it shows little variation لأن they're evenly distributed.
تمام، في even distribution. في which one of them بقى في even distribution؟
A و C.
A و C، برافو عليكي. A and C عنده even distribution لأن no variation، مفيش variation كبير في النمبرز. بصوا قريبين من بعض كلهم، لكن B ده بعيد قوي، ال 13 ده عن ال others. طيب continue كده.
Field X has greater biodiversity مع إنه هو بيتكلم عن biodiversity. There's more species يعني في 3 counts.
طب أنا هقول لك حاجة، ال 3 counts دول is this enough عشان يعرفني biodiversity كامل؟
No.
No. يبقى كده they need to make more counts أو إن هو يعمل more and more repeats طبعا. يبقى المعنى كده إن I cannot rely on these data لأن لازم يعمل لي more counts. مش كفاية أبدا لل 3 counts دول. أوكي، أنت بقى لو اتكلمتي على why مش هتلاقي حاجة تقوليها. هتقولي إيه؟
أنا حاولت.
لا ما بتحاوليش.
يعني Y هتبقى عكس X، هتبقى Y
مش
fewer
كله
species.
بصي هنا نو مثلا مش موجود ايه خالص، هنا مفيش even distribution لان ال1 دي هتعمل قلق معانا. هنا بس اللي ممكن اقول في even distribution يعني قريبين الى حد ما يعني.
فيها less biodiversity.
less طبعا طبعا less، وده عشان كمان الاي مش موجودة في Y بالاكتر يعني. تمام.
وأنا كده خدت 4 درجات.
تاخدي، طب انا اللي خدتهم. هاتي يا حبيبتي طبعا طبعا. طيب name an abiotic factor that could affect the distribution of the plant species. abiotic factor بقى، والquestion لياسين. ياسين محمد. هو يوسف راح فين؟ روحوا فين؟ ياسين.
Yes, miss. Temperature.
Temperature. تمام. The diagram shows a part of a molecule of DNA. State what's meant by the term genome. برضو ياسين. What's a genome?
It's the genetic sequence that makes up the DNA.
لا.
Or the whole DNA in general.
All the DNA in an organism. خدوا بالكم. Genome معناها all the DNA in one organism أو in an organism. في كل السيلز بتاعته. Describe the differences between the structure of DNA and the structure of RNA. سلمى عماد. في الستراكشر خدي بالك مش في الفانكشن. Your voice is very low.
Can you hear me?
بس raise your voice.
Do I speak about one of them or both of them?
ما هتقولي ال DNA وممكن تقولي but كذا في ال RNA بقى.
Okay, and DNA has a double helix structure. RNA has a single strand structure.
يبقى الأفضل هنا تقولي ال DNA ثواني. مادام قلتي على ثانية واحدة.
RNA
Can you
has
hear me?
uracil.
Can you hear me يا سلمى؟ سلمى, can you hear me?
Yes.
طيب.
Yes.
You said that ال DNA has a double helix لكن ال RNA has a single strand. لا, ما تتعملش كده ال comparison. DNA is double stranded in the form of double helix لكن ال RNA is single stranded. Okay? يعني هتتكلمي على strand يبقى the strands in both of them. طيب what else?
DNA contains thymine.
Yes.
However, RNA contains uracil.
Yes.
DNA contains deoxyribose sugar.
Yes.
But RNA contains only ribose.
برافو عليك. Excellent. Describe the roles of RNA in protein synthesis يا جوليا. Roles of RNA. يعني تكلميني عن ال RNA اللي نعرفهم كلهم. فإيه؟ جوليا.
Yes, miss. 1 second. Oh, okay. So there is mRNA and tRNA. For mRNA, it's a copy strand of the DNA strand. It moves out of the nucleus through nuclear pores in the nuclear envelope.
Just a second.
Yeah.
What's the name of the process by which the messenger RNA is
Transcription.
formed? Transcription. It has to be mentioned. Okay. Keyword لازم تتقال. تمام. Continue, please.
And then once it moves out of the nucleus, it binds with the ribosome, producing tRNA.
لا, the tRNA is not produced by the ribosome ولا messenger RNA. It is also already present in the cytoplasm.
Yeah, it brings a complementary base.
What do you mean by this?
I don't remember.
Last time, yesterday, I wrote this بالكامل.
Yeah, I know.
One of you أخذ سكرين شوت وحطها على الجروب. ال tRNA.
It brings an
حضرتك
amino acid.
غششتيها يا من.
ما هو she doesn't يعني she cannot remember. يعني أنا ببقى مستغربة لأن أنا لسه قايلة امبارح وكاتباه بالكامل. Yes.
Yeah, it brings an amino acid.
Okay.
To
What
the
about
ribosome.
the others? What makes sure and this is the correct amino acid?
It's a complementary base sequence to the. يعني the bases are complementary to the mRNA.
But these complementary bases, they have a name. We do not say complementary bases. بتبقى اسمها ايه يا جوليا؟
Amino acids.
No. البيزز بصي يا حبيبتي.
Anticodons.
Anticodons. برافو عليكي. Anticodons لإيه بقى؟ To
the codons.
To the codons اللي موجودة على ايه؟
In the mRNA.
برافو. ما انت عارفة اهو. ايه اللي مش عارفة ده؟
I was confused.
ما انت عارفة اهو. اعمل فيكي ايه؟ قلقتيني يا جوليا. قلت
Sorry, I got confused.
طب what happens next بقى؟ الامينو اسيد translation. برافو عليك. يعني الامينو اسيدز بعد كده ال tRNA bring the amino acid to the ribosome. الريبوزوم بعد كده it binds the amino acid together عشان تعمل البروتين اللي هو عاوزه. ولازم طبعا يا جماعه we have to mention ال transcription and translation. Both words have to be mentioned. وانتيكودن وكودن لازم اقولهم.
Okay.
Thank you يا حبيبتي. The diagram shows part of the female reproductive system with some structures labeled. عايزة بقى محمد أحمد What are these three structures يا محمد? A, B, and C.
A الأوفي داكت،
تمام.
و B الأوفري،
برافو.
و C اسمها إيه؟
علي. cervix. excellent. محدش يقول عليه vagina. لا, this is the cervix يا جماعة. the beginning of the uterus. أو ساعات يقولوا عليه the neck of the uterus، لكن طبعا you have to mention cervix. برافو. describe the role of structure D. وعايزة محمد ميسرة. What's the role of structure D? At the beginning, tell me, what is structure D يا محمد?
D is the uterus.
لا.
لا miss wait is the
لك.
it is
بص كل ده the uterus, but we need only this part.
the lining of the uterus.
The lining. برافو عليك. طيب what's the role of this lining بقى in reproduction?
It is where the placenta grows and the placenta provides like oxygen, glucose, and other nutrients.
برافو.
And it removes metabolic waste products such as carbon dioxide and urine.
برافو عليك. لا بلاش urine دي. carbon dioxide, urea. Okay, these are the waste products. طيب أنا عايزة أقول لك حاجة بقى. مش it's better to say إن embryo is implanted in the lining الأول والبلاسنتا بعد كده بتتعمل. Okay. طبعا if you mentioned what you mentioned صح، مش هقول لك لا. بس this is an additional answer, and of course it's important as well. إن الembryo is embedded in the uterine lining أو the uterus lining والبلاسنتا كمان is attached to it. تمام. أو grows فيها يعني. Thank you. The graph shows the changes in the levels of hormones released from structure B. طبعا B اللي هي الأوفري زي محمد قال لنا دلوقتي. During menstrual cycle. Explain the importance of the changes in hormone M and N during the menstrual cycle. محمد إبراهيم. لازم تقول لي الأول what is M and what is N. لسه برضو قايلينهم.
M is estrogen.
Yes.
N is progesterone.
Progesterone. يلا جاوب لي الكويستشن بقى.
M build up the uterus lining so that when so that the egg can be released. N maintain the uterus lining across the months so that if pregnancy happens, it will help the embryo.
تمام.
embryo.
اوكي. طب ما هو بيقول لي during the menstrual cycle، يبقى لازم تقول لي when there is an embryo and when there is no pregnancy. لان هو ما حددليش. خد بالك، خدوا بالكم كلكم يا جماعه، بيقول لي during the menstrual cycle، ما قاليش during pregnancy. فيو have to mention الاثنين during pregnancy and if there is no pregnancy. فبالنسبه للاستروجين كمان يا محمد، هي it reaches a peak before day 14. عشان ايه؟ امال ليه هو حاطط لي day 14 ده؟ it peaks before day 14. فده بيساعد على ايه؟ مش بس to build the lining of the uterus او to renew the lining of the uterus. البيك ده بيطلع لي which هرمون بقى؟ لما يعمل بيك كده يا جماعه بيطلع ال LH. فال LH هو اللي بيعمل عمليه ايه يا محمد؟ at the day 14. محمد؟
Sorry miss النت حضر.
تمام. ال LH when it is released بيعمل ايه at day 14؟ لا يعني
day 14 بيعمل ايوه بيعمل ovulation.
ovulation. برافو برافو عليك. ف if there is pregnancy البروجستيرون will maintain the lining of the uterus عشان ال implantation of the embryo ويبتدي يكمل البريجننسي. طب what if there is no pregnancy؟ هلاقي ان البروجستيرون هيبتدي طبعا يقل فالlining of the uterus will be shed off ويبدأ عملية المنسترويشن. اوكي فquestion زي ده يا جماعة you have to mention if there is pregnancy و if there is no pregnancy. اوكي تمام كده. thank you يا محمد. Other hormones are involved in the menstrual cycle. Describe the role of one other named hormone in the menstrual cycle. احنا اتكلمنا على واحد فيهم which is the LH. I want the other one بقى والquestion لملك. Yes ملك, what's the other hormone?
FSH.
برافو.
It's responsible for the release of estrogen and it causes the egg to mature.
برافو عليك. Excellent. Excellent. طيب ناخد كده 5 minutes break يا جماعة ومحدش يجي بعد نص ساعة يقول لي أصل أنا دخلت من البريك متأخر. Break is 5 minutes. أوكي تريحوا كده وعلى طول نبدأ. يلا 5 minutes break. disease caused by a virus. The graph shows the number of cases of measles each year and the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated between 1950 and 2016 in UK. عندي هنا الجراف يا جماعة اللي قدامنا ده. اوكي، عندي هنا النمبر اوف years اهي 1950 لحد 2015 اللي هو حصل فيهم السيرفي دي او الفاكسينيشن ده لل5 year olds. ليه؟ لان this is a disease of childhood يا جماعه، يعني المفروض ان children are affected by this disease. اوكي، طبعا if the child is not vaccinated ممكن يجيله disease in old age. وعندي هنا الكي بتاعي اللاين continuous line is the number of cases of measles عامل fluctuations كبيرة قوي at the beginning at the end، وهنا the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated. اوكي، هنا without vaccination في الأول، وبعدين after vaccination was introduced نزل النمبر اوف كيسز جدا. وهنا الجراف ده او اللاين جراف ده بتاع البرسنتج اوف 5-year-olds vaccinated. طبعا if you want to read the number of cases you will read from this y-axis, and if you want to read the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated يبقى from this axis. Determine the difference in the percentage change in the number of cases, percentage change خدوا بالكم. In the number of cases of measles between 1950 and 1965 يعني هنا before the vaccination بالتأكيد, and the percentage change in the number of cases of measles between 1968 and 1983. 83. Determine the differences in the percentage change في ال time periods دي. وهسأل الكويستشن ده لمحمد داوود. محمد داوود الأول من 1950 ل 1965. The percentage change. محمد داوود. ليلي. Yes, Lily.
Yes, miss, 1 second.
Give me the answer, please. You said 1 second. قعدت كتير قوي. What are you going to do, يا ليلي?
Miss, I'm not sure what numbers like to take.
But you have to know which numbers. يعني 1950. What's the number of cases here?
Like 645.
600 in 1950. Is it
Oh, yes.
600?
Sorry. 420.
No, it's not 400. هي جاية بادية من هنا يا ليلي. 400. 400. بصي اللاين is thick. and 400 تمام و 1965
520.
520 طب what's the percentage difference بقى أو percentage change أعمله إزاي؟
Do 520 minus 400 over 400.
تمام then
Times, so 30.
times كام؟ جبتي منين ال 30؟
The answer is 30. Times 100 equals 30.
This is going to be 18 divided by 400. It is 30%. ال 30% is it 30 ولا كان في numbers جنبها ولا decimals ولا whatever?
No, it's 30.
طيب what's the other ones? ما بين 1968 and 1983.
I think 490.
ثواني بقى علشان 490 تمام. And the other one 1983
120.
تمام. يبقى ال percentage change
120 over 490 divided by 400.
over 490 divided by 490. You
Minus.
said this minus 490 divided by
490.
multiplied by 100. This will give me a negative value يعني حصل a decrease. So what's the answer here?
Yeah. 75.5.
Just a second. تمام. But what's the difference between them?
So we do 30 minus negative 75.5. So 105.5.
Like this?
Yeah, I got 105.5.
تمام. طبعا percent. Okay.
Miss,
Yes.
is there like a range for the numbers?
أكيد طبعا أكيد.
Because I got different numbers.
طيب maybe you use different numbers from the graph.
Yeah, and the second percentage, I got the numbers different, so it gave me a different percentage.
طب عند 1968 أخدتي إيه؟ 520 صح كده؟ sorry 480 ولا 490؟
490.
طيب و 1983
130.
120 ما تجيش غير كده. why different numbers؟ ثواني بقى أحسبها.
I got it 130.
130 هو انتي عملتي 30 بلس لان ماينس ماينس يبقى بلس 75 and half لا تطلع كده. why 130
I got it 103.5.
طب ازاي؟ add them مش طلعت لك negative 75.5؟
No, I got negative 73.5.
لو مستعملة دول 73 لا طلعت معايا 75.
Yeah, I used 130 instead of 120.
لا بس هقول لك حاجة دي واضحة جدا 120 باينة قوي.
The peak I read I read the peak that it's between 120 and 140.
Look at the peak. يعني أقرب ل 120 على فكرة. أقرب ل 120. أنت كده تبقي دخلتي في رقم تاني بقى. بس بيبقى فيه رينج على فكرة، يعني في such questions بيبقى عادة فيه رينج، ما تقلقيش. Okay. Explain the relationship between the number of cases of measles and the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated. Use information from the graph in your answer. الريليشنشيب بقى، وهسأل حسن. Explain the relationship between the number of cases of measles and the percentage of 5-year-old vaccinated. What's the relationship now?
At first, when vaccines were not included, when vaccines were not introduced, there was a high number of cases of measles. And then when measles vaccines were introduced, the higher the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated, the lower the number of cases of measles. And then when 80% of 5-year-olds were vaccinated, there was about no cases of measles at all.
لا، في cases عند ال 80. Okay, let me look at this.
In 2001. I know 2000, yeah, in 2001.
عند 2000 من هنا ليه مش بيكتب؟ هي this area no cases، بس look it started to increase again من 2000 and تقريبا 3 أو 2002 ابتدى في slight increase، لكن عند 2013 no cases فعلا. يعني المنطقة دي كان no cases, then slight increase and then no cases. طيب can you relate this in the vaccination قل؟ percentage of 5-year-old vaccinated decreased. خدت بالك؟ That's why it started to increase again.
Yeah, so as the percentage of 5-year-olds vaccinated decreased, there was a slight increase in measles again.
تمام.
But then it went back down to 0 in 2013.
كويس أوي، كويس أوي. طيب الquestion هنا كان ممكن برضو in order to get the whole 4 marks كنت ممكن تقول إن before introduction of the vaccine there was no immunity. Okay, no immunity, and that's why the number of cases were high. Where after the vaccination was introduced, immunity increased, and that's why حصل a drop في number of cases. Okay, يعني you can mention something about immunity here في الquestion ده in order to get the whole 4 marks. لأن هو بيقول لي explain. Okay. Some children are receiving treatments that reduce the activity of their immune system. Explain why vaccination are not used on these children. طبعا. why بقى يا عبد الرحمن سعيد? Why vaccinations are not used on these children?
Miss, can you repeat the question again?
No, it's in front of you.
Okay.
انتوا مش بتبقوا فاتحين ولا ايه؟
Miss, because they won't be able to produce antibodies, so the immune system, their immune system will be weaker, or what?
ما هو بيقول لي reduce the activity of the immune system. طب what's more important than antibodies هنا يا عبد الرحمن? This is vaccination.
Miss, they won't have memory cells. Or
No memory cells. تمام. اوكي. يبقى كده هيبقوا they can develop a disease أو catch the disease. اوكي. طيب جانا وائل، على فكرة I read your message. أنا طول الدرس your name is without a mic يا جانا.
Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, طول الدرس your name is
Oh.
without a mic. أنا قلت عندك مشكلة في الإنترنت.
Oh, Miss, it's because I joined with two phones, so one of them is without a mic and the
لا
other is
بس
with.
فعلا طول الدرس أنت اسمك من غير مايك. طيب يلا you will answer this whole question بقى يلا.
Okay.
Complete the passage.
Okay, these fragments of plants are known as explants. The
تمام.
surface of each fragment is sterilized to prevent the growth of any microorganisms. And then they're placed in a growth medium. The growth medium contains agar and a source of energy such as glucose. This method is able to produce large quantities of genetically identical plants called clones.
تمام.
And one advantage is that micropropagation is quicker than sexual reproduction. Another advantage is that the plants can produce at any time of the year.
Any time of the year. تمام. تمام. اوكي. وخلصنا. طيب طبعا we still have few days for the exam. هنعمل ايه فيهم بقى؟ دايما اقول، يمكن قلت لكم نفس الكلام على paper 1 يا جماعة. تعملوا كده final revision من النوتس، والجزء اللي تلاقوا نفسكم you are not sure of yourselves فيه نرجع له من تاني ونسمع الريكوردينج بتاعه. اوكي and then re-study again أو re-revise again من النوتس. ضروري جدا ان you try to solve الباست papers على قد ما تقدروا مرة تانية. اوكي وممكن كمان to solve older past papers. يعني we solved past papers طبعا بكمية كبيرة قوي، لكن you can still solve older past papers if you still have time. طبعا هتلاقوا ان في difference شوية in the syllabus، لكن في common questions ما بين ال old and the new syllabus. وطبعا لو في اي حد عنده اي مشكلة بتبعتولي private message، مش على الجروب لو سمحتوا، private message. اوكي وانا برد على الكل. تمام. it was يعني a pleasant session بالنسبة لي، وأرجو إنه يكون بالنسبة لكم كمان. أنا كنت مبسوطة منكم جدا. صحيح جت فترة كده كنت ببقى شادة عليكم، لكن عشان مصلحتكم طبعا، لأنه كنت بشوف إن في بعض الناس كده they are not paying any attention للstudying بتاعتهم. فأنا مبسوطة منكم كلكم دلوقتي، الحمد لله الليفل بتاعكم كويس. هتدخلوا الباست بيبر دي كمان وهتحلوا فيها كويس جدا إن شاء الله. اوكي and I will miss you all. ابقوا طمنوني عليكم بقى. خلاص. I will miss you all. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you Jana. Thank you Salma. هتوحشوني.
Thank you Miss so
Thank you
much.
so much for this wonderful session يا جماعة.
Thank you Miss.
انتوا بجد
Everybody, let's clap for the teacher. Let's clap for the teacher.